All right, so we're back. Um, I had a video. Let's go take a look here for a second. So I had a video showcasing summons, but it didn't come out right, and there's a bunch of stuff. It just the point is I got her. Um, she's right here. She's maxed out and everything. So I mean, like I said I could show it off, but those they're fragmented. It's like I did 10 here, I did 10 there, and then I wasn't super like into summoning for her. I didn't really want her necessarily. I wasn't excited to get her. But I figured I'd pull, and we got her, and here she is, and she's pretty good. I don't think people are kind of hyping her through the roof right now, but and maybe it's because I'm used to having a +2 shorekeeper. It could be that, but I don't like Lene is just not as good as I think people say she is. I think she's really good, but here's the before we get in there. This is the team I've mainly been running. Lene makes Kelcharo a little better, but she replaces Yenlin, which is kind of like defeating the purpose. Right? Like if she's gonna just do what Yenlin did, then why would I summon for her anyway? The main thing I summoned for her is for the new Toon Break mechanic, which is a little more important. But the only thing I want to stress here is, and it might just be my build. Let's go back. You see this team. In this team, again, she was kind of decent here. She works good in this slot here because Lanego, she does all of her stuff. And then you swap into Chisa, who most of her damage is liberation damage. So she's getting all of Lene's bonuses plus the 25% liberation damage. Because the 25% liberation damage bonus that Lene gives out, the hardest, it's the hardest one to take advantage of because not everybody does liberation damage bonus. So it's like, who can use that? But these two can use that pretty well. The problem is, I'll get into that, but the thing is, like I said, Lene is here. She swaps into Chisa. Most of Chisa's damage is liberation damage, and then you swap into Cardathea. And that team is not bad. It's not bad whatsoever. It's just that the thing is with Cardathea, her rotation takes so long. So by the time she goes into her ult form and because she has to go into the ult form, and then by the time she actually does her ult, those buffs are running out by that time, right? And the thing with Frolova is that her little off field like Hecate running around assistance phase is so long that Cardathea can take advantage of that for her whole rotation. So that's one of the good things. Not to mention, I like this team because Frolova gives a 20% havoc damage bonus to Chisa. She can't really use the heavy attack bonus, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway, so the point is, I've enjoyed using her here, especially because her rotation is so small. Unfortunately, we're getting into this problem of like Chisa's rotation is she comes in, she echo skills, she skills, she resonance skills, and then she goes into her ult, which should be ready. And once you do that, that's most of your meter filled up, and then you press your EX special. She does the chainsaw mode, and then you hit somebody, and then when she slams down, you swap over to someone else because by then her entire outro, her concerto meter is full, so you get the outro skill, right? So her rotation, there's really no quick swapping there. It's just she comes in, she does the flow chart, and then she leaves. Lene is very similar. You swap into her, she intro skills, she ults, then you resonance skill, and then that fills up your forte meter. Then you hold the forte to get the whatever mode. Once that's activated, you jump 3 times, which does the little melee attack. So 1, 2, 3, and then she skills and she slams down, and you activate her echo skill, and then her concerto bar is full, and then you swap over to whoever else you want to. So the thing is, I find her playstyle a little bit boring because it's just flowcharty. There's nothing in there that you can kind of mess around with. It's just come in, do this exact thing every single time, and then leave. She's very efficient, I guess, but the main issue I have isn't really her playstyle so much as it is because obviously like Shorekeeper is the exact same way. You swap into Shorekeeper, she does her skill, her hold basic attack, echo skill into ult, and then you swap off. That's all you want to do with her. That's one of the reasons why I like Frolova and Cardathea is because they work well with each other, swapping back and forth and to do stuff. It's very akin to like what's her name? You guys know what her name was? Sanghua. Sanghua does the same thing every single time. Only the thing with Sanghua, she's so fast that it's like okay, you can just focus on whoever else. But anyway, so her kit is kind of boring. It's whatever. But one of the things that, at least from my testing, you guys can correct me if you guys find something different. People seem to be reacting like she's the greatest thing that's like ever been released or whatever. But from my testing, her damage potential is not that much different than his damage potential. Like this team clears almost as fast as this team, if not maybe faster. We're gonna find out here in this Tower of Adversity, but it's just one of those things where I want you guys to realize if people are trying to push you out there to say that she has these buffs and she's like this insane support, she really isn't numerically, mathematically wise. However, the one thing I will say is that she gives us access to more tune related stuff, like the tune break meter and all that. And as time goes on, that's going to become a thing that I'm sure they're going to rely on more. It's going to be kind of akin to the miasma shield in Zenless, where you kind of need a little bit of something to deal with it, right? You can't just like ignore it. So that's kind of the main reason I summoned her for is having access to that. I didn't think Mornier was going to be very interesting. I might still pull for Mornier, but right now most of my summons are going for the rest of my Polychrome. The rest of my Astrites are going to Cardathea to finish out her merges. But I just wanted to kind of point out, like I said, the thing is, she doesn't do much more than like what Mortefi does, right? Uh, Now, granted, again, Mortefi does have a 38% damage buff to heavy attacks, which is what Augusta uses. And she's more universal. You can't use Mortefi on every team, so it's just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's see. So let's go look at, I guess we'll look at Linnea's build and you guys can tell me. Obviously, it's not super great. The reason her attack is so high is because I messed up. Let's see. So normally, I'm running this set on her. This gives out 10% all attribute bonus, which is good. This set here gives out... The cap is 30%, but I think she only gives out like 25% attack of this buff because she doesn't... Like, you have to hit up to 15% like additional whatever. I don't know. There's like a thing here, and I don't think her, what's it called, reaches it fully. But it's a lot of attack, so it's fine. Anyway, the point being is that I did have this on her, but I was rolling more stuff, and then I pressed. So if you go here, you go down here and you swap the main stat. Sometimes you don't confirm it, so it's like if I'm going here, and I come in here and I go to crit damage and I go like that. I don't confirm it, and then I leave on accident, and that's what I did with that's what I did with this one. So when I pulled this one, I was looking at the substats. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, the best piece ever. And then I looked at the main stat and I forgot to swap it out. So I kind of screwed myself. The rolls aren't too bad. The crit rate is pretty high, but the crit damage is like abysmally low. Like I didn't even know it could get that low, because crit rate goes up to 20%. So the fact that you can hit 12, I thought like 15 might have been the lowest, but yeah, I guess you could go down to 12. Anyway, the point being is that her build is a little wonky. I mean, if we go here, this should be a little better. We're losing quite a bit of crit chance, though. What is happening? We're losing a little bit of crit chance here, though, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't know. I like the more balanced stats of the other one. Anyway, the point is I'll have to keep grinding away to get her where I need her to be. But these are her substats for all her gear. This one turned out unbelievably good. Like, it's ridiculous. This one's not bad. It could use crit damage, but, you know, whatever. This is pretty good, too. Her energy is fine where it is right now. I almost always have ult when I swap back to her. But I'd like a little bit more, because sometimes there's just moments where, like, she doesn't have enough. The Static Mist obviously helps out with that. This is probably her best weapon as a support. As a main damage dealer, I don't know what you'd want to run with her, but as a support to another unit, this is kind of the best one you have, other than her own weapon, but I'm not going to summon for her own weapon because I don't care enough. Because I already have this. And yeah, so anyway, that was kind of a long thing to say. I think, like I said, I think if you're looking for something, I think Mornier might be a little better. But we'll see how that goes. It's just for now, I hear a lot of people glazing her, and I think on the tier list, I'm gonna go over the tier list for this and Zenless because they had an update recently. I'm gonna go over them, but I don't think they're as good as people want them to be. Because in the tier list, Linnea is like they moved everyone down in supports or hybrids or whatever, and they put her in her own tier. I think so. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. So no electricity, no fusion. We don't want to use those here. Spectro and Arrow. So this might be a situation where I want to use the Linnea with Cardathea and Chisa, but we'll see. Resonators ignore 25% of enemies' defense when dealing damage, which is pretty good because Cardathea's weapon right now reduces their defense by 10. So it's a 30% defense reduction. Plus Chisa, who gives out defense reduction with her Havoc Bane. I think she gives out like a 36% or something like that. So we're like at 70% defense reduction. It's ridiculous. And they take 20% more extra damage. So I think, regardless, I'm using Chisa here. But who... Let's see. Spectro works here. What do we got down here? By 5%. Enemies, all attribute resistance increases by 15%. So their attribute... Okay. With a shield. So here I'm using Augusta. When the enemy takes Toon Rupture damage, this effect is removed. Okay, so they get 15% attribute resistance. If you have a shield, you ignore this, but you can remove this by doing Toon Rupture. So everybody can ignore this by doing Toon Rupture. It's just if you have a shield, no matter what, at all times you're going to have that disabled. Okay, so that's interesting. Total damage increases by 10%. Okay. When the Resonator casts a Toon Break skill, the total damage of all Resonator increases by 10%. This effect can be triggered once every 15 seconds. When any Resonator deals Toon Rupture damage, total damage as Resonators. Okay. So basically, I'm just gonna send it on. We're gonna use the teams that are it's the wrong person. Basically laid out. So I'm gonna go with Frolova here. So we're gonna go with Cardathea, Chisa, Frolova on these two, and hopefully we can beat them, and we'll see what happens from there. We might have some issues here with these two. Frolova does like half this team's damage, so we'll see. And then over here we'll do Lene. What element is this? Is that light? I don't know. We'll do Lene and Augusta. So yeah, because they're all gonna be Havoc resistance anyways. You can see here. Here again, this one might be Havoc resistance, but whatever. Most of our damages should be coming through. What's her name? Cardathea, Chisa, and Frolova. We'll show off the builds here. I've been needing to do that more often. So this is her build. Energy regen kind of sucks, but she doesn't need it as much because it's almost always ready. This is a +1 weapon, so 10% defense ignore. This is her substats or whatever. Her max, everything's maxed out. This is her stats. Her energy she could use a little more energy, but I've been lazy to grind out more pieces for her. We got her weapon. Her gear set is 3 and 2. And then lastly, we've got Frolova, 90, 267, with her own weapon on her, which we just recently got for the video who saw that summoning video. And then 3 and 2, Havoc skill damage. No merges. Everybody's skills are maxed out, so okay. Let's just get in there. Hopefully we can. I think we can clear this one. These are my best teams. My 2 best teams are right here. This is like most of the. This count as free to play, but this is where most of the the quote unquote money is, right?
Such is their blessing. We wither together.
Oops.
If it's a duel you want.
I hate that move that he does so much. He just like sits there roll catching. There's nothing I hate more in games when they have like enemies that roll catch. Like, there's no reason for them to be holding the skill that long, but they just do it because it's a game. Does he have arrow erosion on him? Yes, he does. I always forget. You have to. I think you have to echo skill with Chisa first, because I think her echo skill, something about it. I think it boosts your own damage or something. I don't remember. I just always forget. That's just echo skill first.
Break apart, perish. Purge the impure.
So as you can see, we had plenty of time there. The weakest link in this team is Frolova, because she spends a lot of time on field and she's kind of vulnerable. So she like takes, as you saw there, she almost died. She takes a lot of damage. So if you're playing better, she doesn't. But I just prefer to just kind of go in there and do my rotations. What was I gonna say? So one of the things that with this team specifically, what you can do is set everything up with her, and this goes for if you're using Cardathea with, if you want to use her with Lene. When you use Cardathea, do everything. Start off with Cardathea and do everything here, right? Do your melee attacks, get all three of your swords at the bottom down there, your forte. Get all that ready, and then be prepared to ult. Swap into Lene again. Well, it doesn't let me swap here, but this is so annoying. Swap into Lene, do her combo, because it's just one combo. Again, it's a flowchart. You do her flowchart. Swap into Chisa, do Chisa's flowchart. Come into Cardathea. You should have all three of your swords ready, and then go into her form. So when she's in her taller form, in her Fleur de Lis form, you'll have more time in that form to hit the ult, and then you get all the benefits out of it. So yeah, that's kind of the way to do it.
Such is that lesson. We meaningless from our ways, rejoicing the soul.
This tune break thing is kind of irritating because it
Come.
throws off some of your rotations because you have to go in there and hit the tune break or whatever. You don't have to, but it's kind of like beneficial. Like, why wouldn't you?
Connections sub crumble. Such is that lesson. Oceans. Bow before me. Sounding the death knell.
Wanna ult him?
Sweep all away. Heavens, descend. Such ensemble. Absolute futility. Vast symphony of life. Life or death. No alternative. Chant. Songs of old. Flicker into full. Come.
Yeah, I think her echo skill. I'll have to go take a look at it. I remember reading it, but I kind of forget a lot of times what these skills do.
Structural collapse. Connections perish. Such is that lesson. Repent.
For silence beckons. Atonement.
Chaos purify. Tides rise at my blade.
Ult him. You want to make sure Chisa has been probably the biggest. Obviously, I mean she was kind of designed to be one of her best partners, along with Chikona. But Chisa has been one of the best additions to this account in the sense that
We were the erase symphony of life.
She helps maintain the arrow erosion stacks on them because
Blossoms in
Fleur de Lis gets a lot of bonuses
flicker into full.
from keeping the arrow stacks on them, and when the max was 3, they would run out before you would get to ult with Fleur de Lis. But now that they go up to 6, you'll have 1 or 2 of them on them. So that's kind of the main thing, because again, you lose a lot of bonuses from not having that stack on them. Let's return to tower. Okay, let's see. So here we're just going to use the next team, which is Augusta, Cardathea, and her. One of the nice things about this team is that everybody uses Shorekeeper. You can use Shorekeeper with Cardathea, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Shorekeeper gives out, well, at least my Shorekeeper does. Not every Shorekeeper does, but my Shorekeeper gives out a 40% attack buff because of this. And obviously Cardathea can't use that, so that's a huge opportunity cost. Someone else can use that and make more use of all her buffs, so you kind of want to go with that. But yeah, it's important to realize. So it's just nice that this team can utilize her to such a huge advantage. This is her gear variation. I actually run her on crit damage here because her intro skill does a decent amount of damage. It's not a lot, but it's more than nothing. So and then you just want to run all energy regen because her crit buffs scale on how much energy regen you have. I think you need like 240, so I'm a little shy on that, but whatever. It's not that big a deal. I need to go grind out better pieces for her, but I just can't be asked right now. I've already showed her off. This is the Lene build. This is her weapon. All her skills are maxed out. Again, these are her substats. And I forgot to show off you. Augusta, 2400 attack, 82 crit chance, and a bunch of crit damage. This blade. What am I looking for here? I don't have any merges yet. I'm working on. I'm gonna probably get this one and this one, and that'll be it. I don't foresee myself getting any more Augusta merges. The only other one might be probably this one, but you know, whatever. Yeah, so all this is fine. Look at this. My 4-cost deco here is trash. I don't know. It's been a pain to find a decent one to replace that one. I've grinded through so much XP to get that. And these are her gear stats. Her gear is kind of like, it could be a little better. It's not bad, right? It's not bad. It's just, it could be a little better. And that's that. So let's get in there. So like I said, I talked earlier about the combo or the flowchart that Lene has. So you guys are going to see it in action right now. It's fairly straightforward. You just kind of do the same thing every single time. Now, the flowchart with Shorekeeper should theoretically be simple, but it's not simple if you don't have maxed out variation, because you need the whatever. And there you go. That was her entire rotation. I need to get this. There we go. I have a bad habit of like, because Augusta has so many things in her kit that she can do. It's not all worth doing, but like I spend way too long on her sometimes. And not realizing that I should switch off of her. It's well, not switch off her. It's just that you have to ult before her Lene's buffs run out, because Lene's buffs actually kind of don't last as long as you might think they do. Can I can't. I was gonna say, can I toon break him while I'm in the ult state, which I cannot do, so we're just gonna have to take the L on this. Especially with Augusta, like you get her intro skill off so much that it's just worth having the extra little crit damage on it. She rarely ever needs the. Oh, come on. She rarely ever needs like the extra healing, because normally in that slot you either run extra healing or HP or whatever, and she rarely ever needs it, so it's fine. Especially because like the game doesn't work in the way you might think, where it's like, and here we actually have to get this. There we go. Okay, so he's toon broken. Get in there. This game doesn't like. Sustained healing doesn't really help a lot, because either they don't hit you hard enough, like here you see me, I'm taking hits all over the place because it's more important to get your DPS off. But when healing is important, where it's like, oh, I need to heal, you know, or else my guys are gonna die. It's usually they just one shot you, right? So it doesn't really matter how much healing you get. Actually, so normal. I'm not sure which one's faster, which one's better, but I actually kind of prefer getting her skill off before, like after intro, going right into skill, because then you can just hold basic right after ult instead of going. Well, you can kind of skip that because when she ults and then she drives her motorcycle and throws it at them, you can just skip that by holding the basic attack button, and it's a little faster. But sometimes I like doing it. I don't know. It's just, ideally you want to intro, then skill, then ult, and then we'll go from there. But either way, it's not like it's that big a deal. You're not like saving a significant amount more time. So we have to have what, 3 minutes left? Is it 2 minutes or 2:30? I think it's 2:30. 2 minutes is 120 seconds. Where's the time constraints? Yeah. 2 minutes is 120 seconds, and then 30 seconds extra. So 2.5 minutes have to be left on the timer. And that was a waste of an ult. I hate this guy so much. There's so many bosses in this game that I hate fighting against them. I do not like it. This guy, the Glacio one, the one that's like Carlotta's like main boss, where you get all her skill ups from, that guy's irritating. Now he's a little better because you can knock him out of that state. If you hit him at the right time, but if you don't hit him, he's just a huge nuisance. So you do this. Since I skilled earlier, I should have enough. Yeah, so I can just skip that and go straight into this. Come on, give me the tune break. I need tune break. Okay. Yeah, the thing with Augusta, she's really cool. She adds so many, like, there's so many animation cancels with Augusta. I really liked, again, running her with Frolova for quick swapping was just so much fun because of how much animation cancels they both have. And you can tune break in between certain combos that they have. I'm gonna have to just burn it now. I don't have tune break on him, but whatever. I need to make use of these buffs as much as I can. Somebody might be able to tell me in the comments. Is it better? I usually just use the uppercut, but is it better to do the whole basic attack, the heavy attack, when your skills are glowing down there, when they're glowing purple? I usually just use the uppercut, but I'm pretty sure the heavy attack is probably better, right? And we ult. It's just what's the word? It's more convenient to do the uppercut one. It's just faster. My brain also just defaults to it for some reason. And that was it. I was actually cutting it kind of close. I think what was my time? Like 2. I can't see it now, but turn the tower. Will it not show it to me? Nope. It's annoying. It doesn't like. Why is that not a feature where it can just shows you how what your times were. Like, why can't I not see it? I'll have to look back in the footage, but I'm pretty sure I was at like like barely under, so maybe 250-ish. I want to say. I looked at the clock when it was like 3-ish, and a few seconds went by. Anyway, the point being that, as you can see, Augusta plus an S2 Shorekeeper plus Lene barely covered that. With all the buffs, like everything here benefits us. We're all shielded, so we're constant. This is irrelevant. We're tune breaking every boss before we ult, which 40% extra damage plus all of this other stuff. It's like, well, I think we're missing. We have to tune break each boss 3 times. Yeah, stack. Well, when Resonator casts a tune break skill. So when we cast the skill, our damage, yeah. Because I was wondering if this was like, do they get a debuff that makes it so they take more damage? No. This is a buff to us. So the more we tune break, the better. Anyway, that was done about as efficiently as possible. And this is like a premium team. First of all, it's Augusta, her weapon. Lene, she's got static miss, so it doesn't really count. But Lene, who's apparently like the most broken unit in this game that everybody keeps saying, plus Shorekeeper at an S2. That's a what? A 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6 cost team. And it barely beat this in time. So, I don't know. It's not to like speak poorly of her, but the point I want to get across is that like, I don't think she's as good as people want her to be. But that's just me. What I might do, let's go look at how long this video is so far. It's already too long as it is. I wanted to compare the time between using Lene and using Mortifi here. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to come out very similar. This one, now in this one in particular, it might be like the Lene might be stronger because the buffs are specific to her with a tune break. But all else held equal, if the boss wasn't shilling for Lene, again, I think Mortifi is just as good as she is. But that's just me. I don't know. Let's get back here. Because I'm just going to do a little comparison here at the end between the two. I'm not going to go through and list all the buffs that Lene gives, because she gives a lot of different random ones, and like they're not all easily accessible. But for one, because she's wearing Static Mist, and if I run Mortifi, he's running Static Mist as well, we can kind of pretend like, because that's being held even, so we don't have to worry about the Static Mist buff, which is only a 10%, whatever. But Lene herself, where is she? Lene herself gives out like her outro skill gives out 15% all attributes, all damage attributes, amplification, then a 25% liberation damage, which obviously Augusta can't use that. So she does that, and she's got a bunch of other buffs here. Her set gives out, again, around 30%, but I'm pretty sure she's not hitting that 30%. I think she hits like 25%. And then she gives out like a 40% damage buff from her ult. I think we can look at that one. That might be easy. Yeah, damage dealt by all nearby 24%, and then she's got like some other thing somewhere else. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different stuff here. Anyway, so these are her buffs that she does. But that, again, to me, that's comparable to what he does, which is his buffs are a little easier. I already know where they all are. His outro skill is a 40%, almost a 40% heavy attack bonus. He's running this set, which, first of all, this gives his coordinated attacks 40% more damage bonus. And his coordinated attacks also get another 80% here. Plus, when he hits a critical, he gives out 20%. Plus, if you have a maxed out, and this is if you have a maxed out, but 20% for everyone. And also, that doesn't include this one makes it so that every single time his coordinated attacks fire, he fires 2 instead of just 1. Which means if you have him decently built, right, he's not too bad the way he is now. Imagine he has more crit chance with the Static Mist or whatever. He's got like 80 or something. His coordinated attacks don't do a lot, but they do a decent amount over the course of like his ult, especially if you just keep ulting and ulting. Yeah, so I think he does enough damage to compete with Lene. The point is, I'm basically just glazing Mortifi. So if you have Mortifi and you're using either Gian or Augusta, if you're like an Augusta or Gian main, Mortifi is going to do just fine. Don't worry about it. Like, as a 4-star, he's probably one of the best 4-stars in the game. It's like ridiculous how good he is. He could even do good on teams that don't like teams that can't use this buff, he still does good on them because his coordinated attacks are really good. The coordinated attacks also, I don't know, you guys can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure his coordinated attacks also chip away at the tune rupture, meter, whatever controls that. I'm pretty sure his coordinate attacks chip away at that, making it so you can tune break faster anyway. Not to mention, with Augusta specifically, I don't know about anyone else, but with Augusta, when she does her uppercut, like Augusta has like so many different skills. She has her regular skill, which is when nothing's glowing, she does her skill. She does that one skill where she rides on her little eagle and she jumps and does that 3-hit combo. She has her like enhanced heavy attack that you do that when the buttons are glowing, the enhanced heavy attack or the uppercut. She has that one purple ult, and then she has her real ult, which is the hold, the hold ult. All of those, everything in her kit triggers the double.
Hopefully.
Where is it? Triggers the double launch from this because this goes. Let's see. Coordinate attacks when the off-field character performs resonant skills. So normally, I think when you basic attack, the little fire comes out. So he'll do one extra coordinated attack. When you resonant skill, he shoots out 2. Augusta has so many basics plus resonant skills that this thing is constantly shooting out 2. Because I've seen when she uppercuts, that seems to count as a resonant skill for Morphe's, Burning Rhapsody. Anyway, the point being is that like she can take advantage of this buff so much better than anyone else. She just starts throwing out all these like buffs. I don't know if they're designed, if they were supposed to work this way, but the point is that they do work this way. Not to mention, again, Morphe does decent damage on his own, but the fact that like now he has a Shorekeeper, like if it's Augusta, Morphe Shorekeeper's giving Morphe a 40% attack buff, and Morphe's also giving himself a 20% attack buff when he ults. So I don't know. The point being is that, if you have Morphe, he's fantastic. You don't need Lene for certain things.
Scissors.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure
I understood.
even with his with his coordinated attacks, they chip away at the tune meter so fast that like I'm sure he does as much as Lene does. Maybe not as good, but anyway, the point being is that on this team specifically, Morphe's fantastic. I can't speak highly enough of this character. This character is one of the best free-to-play characters they gave us. I really should max him out though. I've just been lazy. He doesn't really do a lot of basic attacks, and his initial skill doesn't matter. I boosted this because when he goes into his ult, if you have this ready, you skill, which shoots out 2 of those little flashing things, and then his resonant skill coordinates with himself, so it shoots out 2 more. So you just like double up your damage. Yeah, and then obviously his forte gives him another skill or whatever. Does this do anything? What is this? So after casting one of these, you want to do one of these first. Is it this one? Passionate Variation. So whenever you do his regular skill, it increases the damage of this skill once his little meter builds up. During Resonance Liberation, each hit will increase the damage of the next one. Look at this. This is ridiculous. He has like ramping damage, so the first ult he does stores up damage that the second ult he does even more damage based on how many hits the first one did. And because his where is it? Not to mention this also gives him more. After using Echo Skill, it gives him 10 resonance energy. And I'm pretty sure this Echo Skill gives him energy when you activate it. No, I don't think it does. Okay, no, I thought it did. So it's this skill that does that. So no matter what Echo Skill he has, it'll do that. Anyway. Crit damage is increased. This one. Now it lasts even longer. And again, I think the fact that Augusta has so many things that they don't count as resonant skill damage, but they seem to trigger resonant skill based effects. The fact that they do that, I think, makes it so that like Morphe does like insane damage. So I think with her specifically, he's probably the best. Personally, I didn't notice. I don't have this weapon yet. Where is it? I'm pulling right now for this weapon. I should get it here soon. But I'm pulling for this weapon for Calcharo. And this should skyrocket his damage pretty well. But the thing is, like I said, I just wanted to make out the point that like Lene, I've used her with Calcharo, and she's not so significantly better than Yinlin. She's better than Yinlin in the sense that like I would take the like I would rather not waste the pity I used on Yinlin and just get Lene because she's more cost effective. Because not only does she boost Calcharo, she's a good broad account booster. So for those of you out there who are looking for like one unit that's going to help most of your units, it's going to be her. So I do agree with a lot of them who say that like she's a good pull because she'll go well with basically any unit on your roster. It's just that when you have your roster, when your roster's as big as like this account's is, a general buffer is good because you have so many units, but like I don't really need another one that does a decent job at whatever, right? But anyway, like I said, if you're gonna start over, if you're new to the game, she's a pretty decent pull because she makes every like whatever your favorite unit is, she'll work well with that favorite unit. So I would recommend her in that sense, but otherwise it's not that big a deal. Yeah. At least we got a purple, right? And I'm still summoning on this because I want Cardathia's M2 Mindscape. But anyway, I'm summoning for that weapon. It should increase her damage, Calcharo's damage when I run him with her. But this first Mindscape, let's see. This one makes it so that when she hits someone, it'll like, I think it spreads the arrow erosion stacks. But more importantly, she gets crit damage based on like how much her liberation thing is full. So once her bar is full, she gets 100 extra crit damage. And as it fills up on the way before you ult, she gets a lot of crit damage anyway. So this is the first one I'm getting. I think what I'm going to do, because I have, let's see, I have a lot of stuff to do in the game in terms of like, there's a lot of more astrites I can earn by doing all the story stuff. So I'm just going to burn all that to summon her. So if I get a copy of her, that's great. I think in the process of summoning, I'll have enough to get 360s, but I'm going to save that for next time because ultimately the goal with her is to reach M3 or S3, this one. This is as far as I'm going to go with her. So for now, if I pull a copy of her, I'll leave her here. And then the next time she comes around, I'll pull another copy and then burn 360 of those coral to get this, and then that's her finished. For now, like I said, if I get one copy of her, that's awesome. And then after that, I'm going to save the rest of my polychrome for Augusta. Because Augusta's a little shorter. I'll summon, hopefully I get Augusta, which will give me this. And then I'll burn the 360 that I have now to get this one. And then Augusta's done. I'm not going to go any further on her. This one's decent. It boosts their whatever. If I were to go more whale-ish, this is kind of what I want to go for, to boost the entire team's attack by 20%. But it's really not worth it at that point. I think these two alone are good enough. But anyway, that's kind of that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I think I might be going over the tier list or something. I don't know. We'll see from after that.